everyone. Welcome all to the Snail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how awesome grinding is in Toyotas, on Toyotas, in or on.
Yes.
Then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me in the studio today is Mr. Grinder himself, Jimmy Jett. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Life is moving along quickly.
Yeah, it is. Indeed. Yeah, we'll update everybody on Thursday about what's going on there. Do you have a fun weekend, though?
I had a fantastic weekend. Went to Vegas. Saw a rock concert. I'll tell you guys more about it on Thursday.
Okay, sounds good. I was lame.
Oh,
we could talk about my lameness on Thursday.
Okay. Deal.
Welcome to the Monday show, though. We do have a fun topic for everybody. This is episode 370. 370.
Nice.
Rolling right along here with the show here, the Snail Trail 4x4, getting as many episodes out as we possibly can. You know, only 15 a week. So, yeah, man, 370. And we have a special guest on today.
We're 4 away.
4 away from 374.
Mm-hmm. That
what
is right.
That?
That is when we tie how many episodes High Sierra 4x4 has.
Oh, Jeff and Greg are going down.
We're 5 away from beating them.
Oh, man. I think Greg still listens. I don't know if Jeff does, though.
I have no clue.
I don't know. Yeah, man. We're coming after you guys. We're coming after the title. We're going to get it. Just FYI.
We should have Greg on for episode 375.
Oh, I like that idea. Okay, we'll make that happen.
Try that out.
Yeah,
see if that'll happen.
We'll make that happen. Man, that's going to be at the new studio, I think.
Possibly.
So we need to get that set up if we're going to have a guest over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what if we do get Greg, I know that his schedule is quite busy. He might need us to be mobile.
It's not busy. He's like semi-retired already. He's
got enough money to buy an LJ apparently. So
and go wheeling with it. Take poser pictures. Yeah, he's been taking poser pictures up on rocks. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, well, that'll be fun. I think we should do that.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. Today's episode, Monday, we do have a fun episode here that we've been teasing about for pretty much the whole month of January. We've been teasing about it. We have Corey back in the studio.
Yes, we do.
And what are you doing here, Corey? Jimmy didn't turn his mic on. Okay, we'll fix that a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, we have Corey back in the studio. He's going to tell us all about what he's been up to. He has some really kind of exciting news and fun updates for everybody. So we're going to give him a microphone, or at least figure out why this one is not on.
I haven't turned it on yet.
Oh,
I didn't want him to talk.
Oh,
yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
He doesn't get to join us for the intro. He's only here for the main topic.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Sorry. You can hang out there. Just put the mic down.
Why is he? You're flipping me off.
He's such a nice guy. So yeah, fun episode today. Are we in February officially? We are in February officially. That means we have a fun giveaway, which we will tell you guys about in the campfire discussion here with Corey. And that's about all I got. Let's keep this short and sweet. The interview, we have a lot to cover.
We do.
So we'll keep this short and sweet so that we can talk about some of the fun things that Corey's been up to and leave it at that, shall we?
Sounds great. Hope everybody's having a good time so far down at King of the Hammers. And it was awesome to see Justin Wicks out at King of the Motos, which was...
Dude. That's such a brutal race.
I know.
That's like, you talk about the 4,400 being the toughest one-day race in the world. I think King of the Motos is the toughest one-day race.
I have no idea. Yeah. I could barely ride a motorcycle. So, right. I mean, I was good enough to do it on the street. I can't do what they do on a motorcycle. That is insane.
Yeah, no way. So yeah, we'll get you. Maybe we'll get caught up with Justin here while I'm down at Hammers.
Yeah,
hear about how King of the Motos went for him, and yeah, I think that'd be a fun update too.
Sweet.
So, all right, cool. So hopefully everybody's enjoying the lake bed. If you're listening from the lake bed, I'm officially on my way down there.
On route.
I'm en route.
Actually, this might come out before you leave.
Oh, really?
Maybe. I usually release it at 4:20.
That's right.
Pacific time.
I think this will be out then before I leave. So
you can listen to it on the way down.
There we go. How's that? So cool, man. Yeah, without further ado, let's get right on over to today's campfire discussion with Corey, and we'll be right back after a couple of fun words from Brian at 4 Wheel Underground.
At 4 Wheel Underground, we don't do DIY kits. With 26 years of experience, we've designed and engineered suspension geometry for maximum performance and predictability on and off-road, so that you don't have to. Check out 4 Wheel Underground to find the best engineered Toyota suspension solutions at 4wheelunderground.com.
Oh, welcome back, ladies and germs out there. Everybody that's included in that, which I guess would be everybody. Is everybody included in everybody?
Are we all germs?
I don't. Some of us could be.
Okay.
There's some people out in the back of the warehouse right now that could definitely be considered as germs.
They're a little dirty.
They are a little dirty. Oh, man. Welcome back, everybody, to today's campfire discussion. We have back in the studio after a little bit of a hiatus. He's been traveling around, getting around like he does. And he's no longer a GWC.
No, he's not GWC.
No, he's still wearing orange clothing though. Well,
it's not molten orange.
It's not molten orange. What would be the definition of that orange? What is that orange's color?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It's just not molten orange.
Not molten orange.
They got TM on that one.
Gotcha. Welcome back to the studio again, Corey.
Hello.
So what would be your official title now? Because I'm not even sure what to call you anymore. Just Corey.
We can go with Lawless Corey.
Lawless Corey.
Lawless Corey.
That's right.
He's a rebel.
That's right.
Rebel.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's the rebel.
That's technically the company. So now I'm a hired gun.
Nice.
In which we got a lot of different things. So now I'm a Swiss Army knife of things.
You do, and this is going to be, I think, really interesting to go over, because we haven't quite made it. We've been teasing that there's a big announcement coming for the past few episodes here, and yeah, so you're no longer with Gear Wrench.
No,
Gear Wrench did some downsizing. And they essentially just eliminated the California rep pretty much position.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I'm like, that seems like a really bad decision to eliminate that rep from the positions in Gear Wrench, but it happened.
Yes.
And you ended up in I think a pretty cool freaking place. Though.
I do too. We're stoked about it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's the place I'm at right now is awesome. Like a rep agency for those that want to know the term manufacturer's rep. So I get hired gunned. So I'm going to rep a lot of different things, but the company I'm with is one of the best out there. A lot of people I worked with a lot of times in the industry, and so the brands though that we have are phenomenal.
Yeah, there are some really cool brands you're working with now, and it's really widespread too. Like Gear Wrench was very focused on hand tools, right? And in a lot of the automotive industry, hand tools. And this one, you are literally like everything.
Yeah, we've been looking through a bunch of books that you've provided with us, and yeah, I mean, can you just name off a few brands that you're going to be covering now and sort of a quick highlight of what they are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I cover, I'll go through kind of the industries and then we can get into each one as we go. But so for a big one that we have is fabrication. So we have quite a bit of fabrication stuff that go along with that.
Yum.
And then the other one would be batteries and lighting.
Okay.
And then hand tools still got a brand of hand tools.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one is probably the most coveted one, which we'll talk about here in the last second, because I know someone else has got an announcement they got to make.
Yeah, we'll get into that one in a little bit here.
But so we also got cutting, and then with some knives and different things like that.
PPE,
tape,
PPE.
Yep. So personal protective equipment. Yeah, so that's kind of a lot of it. And
Easy Ups.
Easy Ups. That's one of the brands. Yeah, I know. I forgot. There's some of them that you just forget some of it. But
rigging equipment.
Yeah. So straps, for vehicle straps, trailer straps. So
harnesses for climbing towers? ?
Not in my purview, but for my coworkers, yes.
Okay.
Coworkers, yes.
Nice.
So that's something I gotta work on for you.
There's no towers here in California.
No, it's another agency has
none that are important.
Another agency has that particular line.
Gotcha.
Here, so.
That's really cool. You're really widespread in quite a few different industries now, rather than just automotive hand tools. So widespread, a lot of different industries. What are some of the brands in each of those industries?
So one of the biggest ones we have that we're going to spend a lot of time today is Walter Surface Technology.
Cool. That is a big one. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So they are one of the leading industry leaders in abrasives, welding, and kind of fabrication in general. So they've expanded. I used to sell their stuff many moons ago, and just from 10 years, they've doubled the size of the company with acquisitions and different things. So they've got some really, really cool products that are geared for the fabricator, even the home warrior fabricator. Mm-hmm. That's pretty awesome. And then the other one that's really
what about the shade tree mechanic backyard fabricator that you are like, I don't know if I want to take my vehicles to, but that's totally me.
That you're sitting next to.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't say much. Blanche has been on the side, but I haven't. I've had to use Blanche though for a personal vehicle for a little bit here or there, so a daily almost. But yeah, so Walter's really cool, awesome, and we're going to get into them, and we'll have some fun stuff with them.
So I'm curious, does Walter own? I'm looking at the back of the catalog here. There's Allegro Industries, Drillco Cutting Tools, Triumph Twist Drill, and Walter.
Yes.
Does Walter own the other three, or are they just kind of like sister brands?
Yep. Nope. They own all three, and they're slowly getting integrated in that, but they're kind of still their own brands or that. So
gotcha.
A lot of people probably have Drillco drills in their mechanics toolboxes or whatever if you've been a fabricator. So you probably got all that stuff in there. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have probably run into Walter's cutoff wheels, their zip wheels, and different things like that. They've run through that.
Nice. Cool. So Walter Surface Technologies. So we got a bunch of fabrication stuff, which I'm super excited about. There's also
and consumables, as somebody likes to put it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Consumables for sure. There's a welding hoods as well in there.
Yeah. We'll talk about a really nice, cool one.
Respirators for the professional welders out there that listen to the podcast. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So yeah, they got that through Allegro and their Arc One.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kind of really cool one is mag drills. So they've gotten into that and expanded to that. And we were just talking just a little bit ago about your need for a mag drill.
Yes. Just before starting and hit the record button, I was like, God, I wish I had a mag drill. It took me an hour to drill 2 1-inch holes. It's like, that sucked.
Yeah, I got to play with one at their training, and they had the other day, and they have an auto mag drill, which is awesome, which is you literally set it does its own cut, goes in, it goes out, and you just walk away from the thing.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
So all the fabricators that are out there that have to do multiple holes, they're like, oh, let me know more information about that. The other person thinks it's overpriced for a single person.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm always interested in knowing about how to do multiple holes. So,
yes. Oh,
yeah. Sorry, I have to derail the podcast at least once.
I think they supply step bits.
Step bits.
The time in was 11 minutes for you folks for recording.
So Jimmy, edit at 11 minutes coming in here. No, there's a lot of really cool stuff. Drill bits, as Jimmy said, there's another big one. Step drills, a lot of different drill options, countersinks. There was a mill.
Yep. And
bits.
Mills, yep.
Annular bits. There's a lot of different cool stuff in this catalog that anybody who's doing fabrication out there, whether it's at home or as a professional industry kind of use thing, definitely look into some of those. So,
I mean, that catalog he handed you is
it only weighs like 12 pounds,
right?
So
it's like a small phone book.
You could use it to,
if you know what those are.
Yeah. What's a phone book? I'll say you could use it in a Bobcat so you can see over the dash.
Yeah. Yeah. I can cut it in half and put it on the pedals so I can finally reach
the pedal.
Smart ass.
Husband will appreciate that. so awesome. So you're in a bunch of different fabrication brands there.
Yep.
What about some other stuff? What about the tape stuff?
So Sure Tape, one of the leading manufacturers of tape. So they've got all kinds of cool different brands underneath that. So Frog Tape, you've seen the national commercials for that. The Painter's Tape, T-Rex Tape is pretty popular out there. There's a Gorilla Glue type of tape. But now, I got all kinds of duct tape up the rear end that we're gonna have fun, and we're actually gonna give you guys some of the stuff. And
so duct tape is a staple for off-roading.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah. So
do you supply baling wire too?
Not yet. That's the only one. That's the one thing that I don't have in the lines that we have.
Zip ties?
I do have zip ties.
Ooh, nice.
So that was the one. That was an interesting one we talked about with Sure Tape. They
Corey's coming in here to talk about mag drills and whatnot. We're like, do you have zip ties?
Zip ties and everything. They have reusable zip ties.
Ah, nice.
Fancy.
Aren't all zip ties reusable?
Who's going to take the time to take one apart properly to be able to do it?
Nobody. But if you know how, you could pry the little lever up and you can undo it if you cared.
If you care that much, you could cut them,
or you just throw that penny away.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, for the person that wants to tie something not permanently to something, that's what they use reusable zip ties generally for.
So does it have like a lever on it? On the backside?
Yeah, it's kind of like a lever, but it's also, it looks weird. It looks a little bit different, but it functions the same as a zip tie essentially, but it has a little bit different prongs on the outside of it that kind of like grab it in there. But you kind of push it, hold it, it will go there. You can get a case of 25 or something like that. So we'll
nice.
see. We'll see what getting some of your guys' hands on them and mess around with.
What's the tensile strength on them? All different sizes?
It depends on which one you're looking at, but they're pretty strong. It's
nice.
It's stronger than your general zip tie tensile strength, which is awesome.
Really? The reusable ones are stronger than a standard zip tie?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice. Yep. I carry 20 pound and 120 pound zip ties.
Yep.
And I've put my steering back together before with 120 pound zip ties and driven home. So
we've put a leaf spring together with some.
I'm looking at some zip ties right now, holding a leaf spring together.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so back to tape.
Yeah,
we've got Gorilla Tape, T-Rex
tape. Whoa! Gorilla Tape is not that's a fine
style tape.
Yeah, it's the T-Rex tape is the Gorilla Glue style of that tape. So that's
I'm sorry, is Gorilla Tape an actual brand then?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was
their
a category.
The channel lock fail again.
I was gonna say. So now we're getting into exactly. We're getting into vice grips versus channel locks. Okay. So we got T-Rex tape, which is a heavy duty. It's
high adhesive glue like tape. So very extremely tacky tape. So if you're looking for something to really stick together, and that's in high tensile strength in the backing of it.
Yeah.
And so Sure Tape is a little bit different than all the other brands that you see out there. They're actually the mill that makes it all. And a lot of it's USA made. So they started out as a mill before they even made tape.
Nice.
So they've been around for, since like the 1800s, essentially as a mill in North Carolina. And so now they're one of the leading brands in that. Their masking tape's really awesome too. In their Frog Tape. Jimmy, you got your house project.
Yeah.
And you're working on.
I've used Frog Tape before, and it is amazing stuff for painting.
Yeah, so no bleed through. So if you're wanting to make sure you don't get any overspray on your rig, I mean, we're looking at your sliders, Tyler. You need to spray them.
Speaking of your sliders, though, what did we put on there? What was the name of that?
That was T-Rex grip tape.
T-Rex grip tape, which is going to cut some shins open if anybody does fall off of it.
Yeah. So they make these.
It's impressive.
What did you, 6 inch by 2 inch?
2 inch.
6 inch by 2 inch, like extreme grip tape. That is, it's a little rigid, but we were actually able to bend it lengthwise around his rock sliders because the secretary has the same problem as the assistant. They don't know how to get in and out of our rigs.
No.
And they slip off our rock sliders. And now they're never ever going to do that again.
Off. Yeah.
This stuff is gnarly. When we were pushing it
really
on,
gnarly.
it hurt our hands. It was so abrasive in a way, so grippy.
Yeah.
It was.
I was originally thinking about getting like a skateboard deck tape and cutting that and putting it on the slider.
Your door probably would have opened then.
It probably would have opened. We wouldn't have had to need to put me and Kyle on the slider and jump up and down. But yeah, it's that stuff is gnarly. I don't think that it's ever going to have any slipping issues, or
No,
people are going to have slipping issues on it.
It's not like sandpaper grip tape. This is like small pebble.
Yes, this is like
tape.
rock grip tape.
It's literally like getting grip asphalt.
Yes,
So it's awesome for that. Like it's when I saw that, I said, oh, I want it on my sliders. And then before I even could say it, Jimmy said it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tyler said, oh, all the assistant and the secretaries are like, yeah, we want these bad. And I'm like, so
anybody who has sliders out there that needs some sort of grip tape for them, this stuff is amazing. This is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just called T-Rex grip tape.
Yep. T-Rex grip tape. You can buy it at your local hardware store, Home Depot. It sells online, Amazon. You can get it there too. So
yep. Awesome stuff.
Have to get some.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to get more of it. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So lucky listeners going to get some too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We do have quite a plethora of fun items right over by Tyler that Lawless Corey is generous to supply.
Nice. Before we get over to those stuff though, let's talk about one of my favorite topics.
Lighting.
I was like, where are you going with this? I'm going to need to cut another section of this out.
That's what I was waiting. I could see Jimmy's face was getting a little worried and Corey's face was like, oh, we're talking about lights now.
I got it.
So thank you.
Jimmy knew it was possibly two different scenarios. He was a light or ham radio, and he was traumatized by the ham radio possibly coming up. He's like, he was looking at me, Corey, do you do anything with ham radio? I'm like giving him the no.
Which made me cry a little. No, so let's talk lights. Because you have this other company that you're repping called Coast.
Coast, yep, Coast Lights. So Coast is an awesome company. They're fairly new. They're out of Portland, but they're really wanting to give
Portland, Oregon, or Portland, Maine.
Portland, Oregon.
Okay,
the Northwest.
PNW, Portland.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they a group of them decided that they wanted to make really durable, nice lights that went a gamut of different rays, affordable to the consumers. So you've got your Streamlights out there, your Pelicans, and they are really kind of the leaders, but they charge a lot for some of their rechargeable lights and batteries. And so you get a lot of these Chinese off brands that will make a light or a headlamp and they won't stand behind it. And you're just kind of like, oh, this light's here. It has a lot of lumens, but there's no focus ration on it. There's no candlelight power to it. And then when I need support for batteries or replacement parts, you're just out of luck.
Yeah, it's a throwaway item at that point.
Yeah. So Coast has made a really good job of getting these lights. They're really cool in design. They're really innovative in the stuff that they're putting lights into. And their quality of lumens and candle power is phenomenal.
Nice.
Yeah, they were the people that had like the safety vests.
Yeah.
And they had lighting built into the safety vests.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like they had the reflective like bar that goes around like your chest. And then it had red blinking lights that went on each side of the reflective bar. So
nice.
Not only if you like get stuck on the side of the road, not only are you going to be reflective, but now you're going to have blinky red lights on you.
Nice.
When you hop out. Yeah. And they had ones for wrap around like a helmet on the job site.
Hard hat ones.
Hard hat ones. They had all different kinds of built into random things, but very inventive company for lighting.
Yeah, which is really cool, and they're always going to coming out with newer things, and the best part too is for you guys too. You can buy them directly from their online Coast.
Oh, nice! They're direct to consumer online.
Yep.
So is that coast.com or?
I think it's you just look at Coast Lights and then you should be coming up on their website.
Gotcha.
So I think it's coastproducts.com.
Nice. Yeah, they've got a lot of really cool options. There's a lot of different variables out there. They're changing different things up. They have one thing I like is that they are making almost everything with the option of USB-C rechargeable.
Yes.
Which for off-roaders, in my opinion, that's a good standard to get all of your electronics on so that you can just recharge everything off your vehicle.
Yeah. I opened up one the other day, a kind of a nice little tactical light, and they had even on the light, they had a USB and UBC.
Oh, nice. Both
Dual,
of them.
because they know that it's changing over. So a lot of places still have USB,
USB
A's and C's and
Mhm.
stuff like that versus, but if you get a UBC, it's the premier cord. You're able to charge faster and you're able to run better on it. And it's more durable than a USB. That was,
They also have a lot of IP67 rated and IP64 rated lights, which is another thing that I really like for off-roading. Just means you can use them in a lot of different elements. If it's raining outside, you're not going to have to worry about not being able to use your light at night to do repairs on the side of a trail or something.
Well, and then the other thing too is they as you mentioned, they have the option, and if you buy the lights, they'll have a battery option too. So as we know, it's important, especially if you're without power for a period of time and you run through your battery and you don't have the ability to recharge the rechargeable battery, you can always have. It should always be a good practice also to have
AAA's on hand, AA,
and they actually, Coast actually sells their own batteries, AAA, AA's as well as a consumer.
Nice.
So you can buy those, and they run some steep discounts on sometimes, so you can get some good batteries for a cheap price.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed about them is that they kind of have the same body style, but then you can get that in an IP64 and IP67. You can get it with a rechargeable. You can get it with different lumens, a variety of different lumens. So it's kind of neat that
different
you can
focusing.
Yeah, different focus lengths or standards. It's kind of neat. You can find a body that you like and then kind of customize in a way the light to your needs or satisfaction.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So Coast Lights. Let's see, what else do we have to talk about?
Well,
should we jump into the big one? Or
let's go ahead and make the announcement. I would say the lifting straps is Lift All.
Lift All. Okay.
So there's some cool stuff in that, and so hopefully at one point we'll be able to give some toe straps for you guys and some trailer straps and different things like that nature.
Nice.
So
they're neon green too.
Yeah, they are neon green.
I like it.
So they got.
You just need a trailer.
I know.
So if you guys notice on the advertisement they have for the toe straps to pull people out with, a Jeep is being pulled out.
I like it.
As they normally are. Yeah.
And I believe it's a truck that's pulling them out. So I'm assuming that's a Tacoma.
There we go. We can say it is.
Yeah, we'll just assume.
Oh man. So cool. So Lift All straps and rigging.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. And then the big one that I'm pretty interested. I never really looked into before. I'd heard about it, but I had never looked into it before you had said this is going to be one of the new brands you're repping.
Yeah.
Flex Power Tools.
That's right. And so Jimmy, you made a purchase recently.
I did.
And what did you buy?
I just bought their 1/4-inch impact and their drill, hammer drill, and an oscillating saw from Flex, and their power stack battery. Is that the technical term?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited with that. I've played with it a little bit, haven't put it to some great use, but I did take it up to the cabin a few weekends ago and got to compare it against a brand new Milwaukee M18. So it was fun to compare them. Do you want to jump into it a little bit now?
Yeah.
I'm curious about the comparison.
Okay.
Yeah. So the biggest difference, and we look at this is and this will go into the tie in when we look at our campfire discussion specifically around grinding and removal of material, is your amperage and wattage power out. It's with the Flex is by far superior and of all lines. So they spent a long time developing their own battery technology, and you're seeing that through within what they're able to do. And so at another episode, we'll get into really nerdy stuff so Tyler can be all excited to talk more about it.
I was going to dive into it right now.
I know he was all ready for it, but yeah. So Jimmy, how did just in your head-to-head comparison, how did it perform?
In head-to-head, they performed quite similar, but the Flex did drive a decent sized screw slightly faster.
Yep.
But what I really liked about the Flex over the Milwaukee was it had a better low end torque. The Milwaukee, to me, when I was using it, felt like it was not on, and then all of a sudden it was full go, like as fast as it could. And if you when you're like slightly pulling the trigger, right, it's either on or off. And the Flex had what I'm just going to say is like a
speed almost.
Yes. Yeah, a better low end torque in a way. It had a variable speed, a little bit more control on the trigger. And I felt that it worked really well to me. And I don't know if it was something that I was kind of used to with my Makitas. Like it had the same sort of trigger feel because I've been using Makitas forever. Yeah. Like since I was, I don't know, 20 years ago or something like that, since I've had those type of power tools. So now moving over to this new brand and playing with it, I'm stoked. I've only used the drill once, but it worked fine as a drill, but yeah, the 1/4 inch impact did compared to the Milwaukee was slightly better in all around I felt.
And I don't want the red people to come at me all angry.
Oh, they're coming now. Yeah, we have already dissed Milwaukee. They're up in arms now. So
yeah, we'll just fan bases. we just said a curse word. So we did. Milwaukee does a great job of making tools, but what you're seeing in that low end torque, all battery technology, and that's what we'll get into that another time. The reasons why. I know everyone's like, do it now, but teaser.
We'll get into it later. We'll have a full episode on battery technology for tools.
So there's a reason why that low end torque is immediate in there and versus the jumping of it. So there's a lot of technical stuff.
Yeah. Before people do come biting heads off, it's like it's not a complete apples to apples comparison though, because you got an 18 volt versus a 24 volt system. So, it probably is going to have more power because it does have more voltage.
Yeah.
So, a while there,
but a lot of that is how you're able to package the batteries.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. These 24 volts are smaller than the M18 batteries.
Oh, yeah. And we'll get into that why. And
sure, yeah, and I don't.
He's all for it. He's all for it. He's trying to. He feels the pressure already of the red people coming at him.
I do. But I just want to say, 10 years ago, it was all 12 volt systems.
Yeah,
right, and then M8 or the 18 volt systems came around, and then brushless M18s came out, and now DeWalt's going up to 20, and now we're up to 24. So. I think it's just a progression of tools.
Yeah, and 18 and 20 is nominal difference.
They're pretty,
There's not. So when you get really, and even the 24 is an actual 21 when you look at the output in nominal. So there's a big difference going from 18 to 21, but there's reasons there that's pretty. But yeah.
All right.
That was the big next announcement that you were teasing. So
I'm moving away from Makita, and I've purchased Flex tools. I think I'm still going to keep my few Makita's tools that I have, and they'll go to the house. But in the shop, I'm going to be getting Flex. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be awesome working with them. They're really putting a lot of technology and a lot of stuff in it, and they're all excited and it's gonna be fun. So we're actually gonna get some stuff for you listeners too, which is I think everyone's really excited about. So as a teaser for Tool Month, be ready.
I'm really excited. One thing that I was really drawn to Flex, mainly the battery technology and what they're doing with batteries right now, because it just makes sense for power tools. I'm like, oh yeah, this 100%. This is where power tool batteries should be going. But the other thing I really like is that it's a German-based company.
Yes.
That has a full tool lineup.
Yes.
In Europe.
Yeah.
And they're just starting. They've committed to trying to break into the United States market and take some of that market share from the big three.
Yeah.
Right. Team Yellow, Red, and Teal. So I like that they're taking and really bringing some updated technology into the race with the big three. And I think that what they're bringing to the table is better than what the big three are offering right now.
Yeah, I would agree too. And Flex has been around for 100 years. They actually have a really robust auto detailing line.
Oh, okay.
So that's where they cut a lot of their butter on is auto, and they're still in US. They're still in the auto detailing and buffing and all that other stuff. They are still #1 brand.
Wow. Okay.
Their corded line is really big.
Yeah, their corded line, grinders, corded line is massive and all that stuff. And then since Shervon has put them under their corporate umbrella, they brought them to the U.S. and has really launched and invested a lot in the battery technology. So all the battery technology comes from also the Shervon side, which for those that don't know, made cobalt for years.
Okay,
and so they're not new to the game. As they said, they've been developing batteries on their own. They've had to develop their own batteries, not buy them out from everyone else. I mean, everyone still buys from the Panasonic or whatever it is. The actual
Sony,
battery,
is it Sony? I don't remember who it is.
Panasonic, LG, those are the two major manufacturers. So they all buy the actual lithium from them, but the actually batteries together. Not every tool brand, including some of the large threes, actually
correct
the components.
Yep. So Flex is actually making their own batteries and components and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
in-house.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited to play with it more and get some more of their tools and tell you guys about it here in the future. And if anybody wants to come at me with red and you want to do a head-to-head comparison, let's bring it on.
Oh boy.
I have my full yellow set right now.
Yeah.
So if we can find somebody
close on that one,
I agree. But it would be fun to do kind of a heads up. We can bring together some red tools, some Snap-on red tools, some yellows, and some flexes, and do a big old tool off of some kind.
Yeah. Without going too far down into this rabbit hole, the one thing that my buddy that had an M18 quarter-inch impact said, he's like, but my tool's smaller. That was the only thing he had on it.
Until March.
Yeah.
And it was only like marginally smaller. You know, it was like, oh, okay. So, and he had like the stubby version, right? Yeah.
Uh,
And mine's not a stubby version.
Okay.
So one thing that's cool with the quarter-inch impact is it has an eject button.
The quick eject.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Did you see that when I brought it in? So instead of, a quarter-inch impacts, you have to like pull the top sleeve off, and then you can pull the bit out, and then you can put another one in. This has a button that will push the collar out for you.
Yeah, and
so your hand can stay on like the handle, and you reach up kind of where some companies have a light. They have this button, so you can push the button there and then pull the bit out with your other hand. So you don't ever really have to move your hand off of the handle.
Nice.
Yeah, and so
it can actually eject it too. So the whole point of that also is if you are like doing a decking project or you're doing something and you're either drilling or going into heavy, it's oftentimes super hot.
Oh, if you're using it a lot. Yeah.
So you can turn it at an angle and hit it and it'll eject out, and then you can put a new one in if you busted or you just need to change your tools on it. Like, so if you're on a ladder or whatever, you can just put it boom on there on top, put a new one in. And
if I'm doing some serious quarter-inch impacting up in the snow next time, I'll get a video of me ejecting it into the snow and see if we can get the sizzle.
Nice. Well, cool. So Flex is a big one. That one's going to be, I think, really exciting because, like I said, they are going to be, they've committed to investing into the United States markets with the cordless line, and they're going to be bringing and have a very robust lineup option here in the States over the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, starting March is when it is going to grow again.
The next round.
The next round, right?
Yep. So there's different phases in this. So we're in like phase 2 of, I don't know how many they're going to do that, but yeah. So the goal is through, road mapping it, and don't hold this to me, obviously, and things change, but hopefully over 100 products by the next few years. So
that's cool.
And they're at 15 now.
Yeah, 15, and they've got a sister brand in Skill, which is, everyone's familiar with the Skill Saw. It's kind of their opening price point that's got over 100 tools in it already. So we're going to offer a little bit both you guys listeners too. So, I mean, some of you guys, don't need the heavy duty stuff. And so there's an opening price point that they have, which is good. And it's a really, really quality tool.
Yeah.
But the other cool thing about Flex if you do get it this year, as Jimmy knows. Why is that?
Because they offer a lifetime warranty on the tools and batteries.
Yes. Founders warranty.
Wow. Yeah. That's really nice.
I thought that ended last year, and then I was just informed that they extended it to this year.
This will be the last
through
year.
The end of 2023.
This will be the last year. So they had a 3-year plan. So they offered it so they're going to offer it in the first 3 years, but that's it. After this, you're going to get a standard 5-year warranty.
Wow. Lifetime warranty on the Power Stack batteries.
Yeah.
And
That's
the tools.
And the tools and everything.
batteries and charger.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
and all you had to do was register online, right?
Yeah, I just had to sign up, and they asked you for the receipt, but I couldn't find it, so I just skipped that point and registered signed in the tools that I had, and it said you're good, and I was like, cool. And that was it. Yeah. It was super easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it on like December 30th. I'm like, oh no, I need to get in. Now it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have because, you get these tools and go out and use and abuse them and put them through their paces. And
especially if you're using them for commercial applications, you depend on these for your work and for your paycheck. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
So
go get a bunch of them.
yeah, seriously. And the price points are really competitive too on them.
Yeah.
So we were comparing the price points to like the comparable Milwaukee and DeWalt options, and they're right in there.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So that's the best part. Like it, and if you can get different spots and we'll try and get some deals for you guys as listeners to snag some like on a super deal if you can't win.
Sweet. Awesome. So we got Flex, we got Skill. Skill does a lot of power tool stuff.
Yes.
Corded, cordless, a lot of different things. So that's essentially, we were talking about it. It's the opening price point.
Yep.
For people that are looking to get in, you're just trying to, for me, the backyard shade mechanic, right?
The hobbyist.
The hobbyist, that maybe doesn't want to need to depend on the tools for a paycheck kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And Ryobi, is sold a ton in Home Depot and so at that opening price point, and Flex and a Skill, is right there, and actually better quality, but same price point.
Yeah.
So
does Skill they have a 12 volt?
Yes, they do.
And then they go to 20,
12 and 20. They don't have the stack lithium because the cost is prohibitive of that. But they have a lot of the same battery technology that's not in the stack lithium of Flex that makes it more durable, more output power versus that. So it all depends on again, what you want in a battery or in a tool and in the motor, and that makes it price points.
Yep. Cool. Awesome. Is there other stuff?
There's many more, but but I think the point of today is also, I think we'll talk about some grinding stuff and kind of look at the Walter brand a little bit here, as I think that's our big giveaway this month.
Yep. So let's talk, get back into Walter real quick. So we have fabrication stuff with Walter, right?
Yes.
A lot of fabrication stuff. And so let's talk a little bit about consumables, because I love consumables. I go through a lot of them. I'm sure everybody out there goes through a lot of them. So let's talk about some of the consumables that Walter has to provide here.
Yeah. So one of the first things that when we look at this and we look at grinding in anything, just know there's a price point for everything. We said that, which kind of was the power tools, but also in when you find your abrasives, or if you're looking at whatever you use for your fabrication, oftentimes you get what you pay for.
Yep.
And
there's a reason why something is going to be 20% more than the previous item, or 50% more than the previous item.
And you know that going in through Morphlate, and even in Jimmy, with your
snail armor,
you can always get a cheaper product somewhere else that's going to cut corners on the quality of this. But if you want it to function the way you want it to function and actually last, there's trade-offs for that. So there are costs involved in making that. And Walter's very much about that. Their core idea in the consumables is making the best affordable consumable. So they're not going to be the most expensive, but they're not going to be the cheapest anywhere.
Yeah.
And
so it's a good value then.
It's a good
for
value.
The purchaser.
It's a good value. And so you can find the Walter at any of your local weld shop. So if you're looking for where to find this, go into your local weld store. Out here, we've got tons of them, or your Nationals, Airgas, Prax, or what's now Lindy. Pretty much any weld shop is going to carry them, because the serious fabricator uses their stuff. And the reason is the quality. So a lot of it's been designed and made. And so one of the big things is cutoff wheels. And so what I want to talk to you guys today and kind of get listeners to know about, how to use cutoff wheels properly. What makes a good cutoff wheel, and then also what makes abrasive in general something.
Okay. So let's talk about cutoff wheels. Let's start there.
Yeah. So just know that there's different types of cutoff wheels.
Okay.
So depending on what material you're using, so there's aluminum oxide, and then there's ceramic, and there's some other different types. Generally, the most popular is aluminum oxide.
Mm-hmm. I know that I typically buy only aluminum oxides.
Yeah. So the higher end one is ceramic.
Mm-hmm.
And so Walters is now launching, they make what's called a zip cut. That's their brand of what they call it, their zip cut wheel.
Okay.
So they have a really awesome aluminum oxide one, that works great. And then they're just now launching the Zip Cut XX, which is a ceramic, cutoff wheel.
So is that 2 X's?
2 X's.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that thing is fantastic. It will basically cut anything in 30 to 40 seconds less than 40% less than what your average cutoff wheel will do.
Really?
So your production time is, doubled.
Yeah.
And the cost is not that much more than your regular aluminum oxide. So, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's trade-offs in everything. You've got to have the right tools in order to use ceramic, as we were discussing earlier.
Uh-huh.
But even you look at aluminum oxide wheels, not every aluminum oxide wheel is created different, is the same.
Mm-hmm.
As we were comparing some of the ones that you are using and the ones that Walter has.
Yeah, I happen to still have all my welding gear in the Forerunner from the weekend, and so I went out and grabbed a cut disc and a flap disc out of my welding gear, the bag that's in the Forerunner right now, and brought them in and was comparing them to Walters.
Yeah.
And it was a very noticeable difference.
Yeah. Just the abrasive grade on it. A lot of it has to do with resin. Resin is really, really important in an abrasive, and how you put that resin and how it breaks down in either a flap disc or cutoff wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you're spinning with the RPMs and how you're using those different cutoff wheels or flap discs or grinding discs, heat abrasion, right, is going to do 2 things. One, it's going to cause breakdown of the wheel, or whatever you're using.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also going to, leave either residue or, something on your, working surfacing.
Okay.
So it's important to have the right mixture of that it's not, it breaks down to where it's not a hard rock and then you just destroy the material you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's important that it's durable enough, that it works. And that's really what's the special sauce in like, Walter's, stuff is they have really good resin, special proprietary resin mix that allows their aluminum oxide or even their ceramics to not break down as fast. And so you're able to run at a more consistent RPM. And this is the big thing. Everyone, especially we saw, Dimitri, as you guys mentioned last Thursday, stuck in the snow cutting, the fender wheel off.
Yep.
He was putting a lot of pressure, and there's 2 reasons. The cutoff wheel and the power to the tool was bogging it down. So if you have the right abrasive, it's going to cut through, and you're not going to have to put as much pressure through.
Gotcha.
In order to make the cut.
Okay.
And really, when you look at a ceramic, that really helps you.
Yeah.
And you're looking at a 30-40% life better than aluminum oxide. It's amazing.
Wow.
So earlier you were saying though that off air you were saying that cordless battery powered tools can't really provide enough power to use the ceramic though.
Yeah, to get the full benefit of the 30 or 40%. Yeah. So corded is still the best, and most every welder and fabricator is probably raising their hand and saying yeah, or air, either or. Most of them use corded or air. And the reason is you think of the RPMs, you got to keep a consistent RPM and amperage, and you have to supply that power to that motor. And unfortunately with battery power tools, and it's getting better, and the flex tools that we mentioned earlier are, I would say, Stack Lithium, that battery platform has gotten almost to the corded, but it's still not. I wouldn't recommend if you're fabricating all day. So in a pinch, that if you're on a situation where you're like Dimitri stuck in snow, you have no option for a corded tool, because you're not going to draw enough power from whatever power source you have.
I have an option for a corded tool.
Can you consistently put enough power through it? That's
2,000 watts.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So other than Tyler, right? So the average person is not going to carry a whole giant battery with them. But you mean that would
Premier. It's an alternator.
That's the alternator Premier. So yeah, that's
or
true.
an inverter style.
Inverter. That's true. So unless you have a Premier inverter that you can actually run corded power out, you're generally, you're stuck with a battery powered tool. And so you've got to make sure, because what will happen is the cutting will start bogging down, or your abrasive, your abrasive will start bogging down, and then it will just be like, and then you feel like you have to push harder. And oftentimes I would recommend actually don't push as hard, let off on it, and let the RPMs try and catch up a little bit more, and just take a few more passes at it.
Yeah.
Right. And so that mainly cordless can't provide a continuous amperage
wattage. Yeah.
That a corded can yet. It's just not there yet. Right.
Yeah.
It's almost, but we're getting there, but it's not quite.
Not quite. On
so in a pinch though, can you use the ceramic on a cordless?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you could use it right now, and on that you could use a ceramic. It's just a ceramic's going to cost you double in some certain situations than your lowest. And so Walter makes an all steel aluminum oxide, it's going to cost double.
Okay.
of that. And that's the other thing too, to take a look at too, is look at what your wheel's rated for and what material. So a good cutoff wheel or a good abrasive is going to identify, clearly mark what material. And so if you're buying a cutoff wheel or abrasives and it doesn't have any identifying marks, which we found out here, is like, well, what will, and the game I like to play is after you start using it, it gets worn, right? And those different things. And can you tell from the back side of the material which material you're supposed to use it on? You can't.
Yeah.
And so that's why identifying marks also helps with. The last thing you want is a cutoff wheel or an abrasive to explode on you.
Yeah,
because that hurts.
It looks freaking horrible.
It's bad, and so grinding. So like we do safety trainings, and you get the grinding wheels, that on cut off wheels that are stuck in the face shields and stuff like that. You see horrifying, and pretty much every old timer that's fabricated has had one explode on them at one point. It just happens.
I have,
and then right, and it's scary, right? You stop everything and you literally check like you've been gunshotted and to see if you have any holes in
full
yourself.
Body pat down. All right, any blood going anywhere?
Yeah. I was fortunate enough that I was didn't have the blade pointed at me. It was perpendicular to my body or parallel to my body, I guess, the blade. So when it did break, it didn't shoot anywhere near me. It shot away from me.
Yeah, and that goes to even when you look at how to use those discs, they have instructions on them. A lot of people use them incorrectly. So we talked about this off air, but there's 3 different brushes and style. So your flap, your cutoff wheels, your cup, and then your regular
like a grinding wheel,
wire wheel.
Okay.
And so depending on your flap, right, you're going to use the flaps on it, right? But you still need to use an angular portion of that. You don't want to put it directly flat on the surfaces. The only item that you ever can put flat on a surface is a cup brush.
Okay.
Because it's designed for that. And so if you were to basically, if you've got an aluminum tailgate or whatever, or Jimmy's situation, he's got rust on a panel and wants to restore one. That's the only one I would recommend utilizing that, because then it's flat, and the flat surfaces, you're able to go at a 90-degree angle.
Okay.
And brush it there, because otherwise you're destroying the brush, and B, you're causing a possibly injury.
No rust on aluminum though, just here. Just to clarify for my panels.
You can have mill scale or whatever.
Whatever. We get it. I was just clarifying it on my defense. Okay, so the cut brush is the only one that you push straight down on. So like a flapper disc, you're not laying those down. You're going to be at a little angle.
Yeah, in a 45 or about a 45 angle.
Yeah.
So on that,
Obviously,
and medium pressure too, right? So a lot of people again they sit there and they try and let the abrasives there to work. Even when you're like, if think of like a palm sander even still too. Like you don't need to push the palm sander down,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just going to bog it down. So you got to let the RPMs work. You got to be able to do that. You get so medium pressure, and as you get better at fabricating, you figure out like, okay, what material needs maybe a little bit more elbow grease.
Mm-hmm.
But you see a lot of the weekend warriors out there. Sometimes they sit there and they try and put every elbow grease in there and try and get something out, and then you just literally just destroy your
Everything.
you destroy. Yeah, you do it. You go
Yeah.
either too hard into the material and you destroy whatever you were trying to grind out,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got to re-weld to then or you just destroy your hand tool, your power tool, or even you destroy the abrasive most likely.
Or you hurt yourself.
Or you hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't want. So yeah, it's important to know those variances.
Yeah.
Nice.
Earlier you were talking about the RPMs too. We kind of touched on that a little bit, but can you dive into that a little bit more about how there's you're only supposed to use certain types of abrasive with certain RPM tools?
Yeah. So you look at like a cutoff wheel, and sometimes people put on a powered, generally when you put a cutoff tool on a battery powered, you're not going to run past the RPM.
Mm-hmm.
But some people will try to put it on a bench grinder, or they'll try to do something different things that are way too high of an RPM,
Uh-huh.
or even they'll get an overpowered, grinder that they find somewhere that is running it's meant for a different thing, or they'll put a pencil grinder on or something like that, that runs extremely high RPMs, and they'll try and put a cutoff wheel or something like that on it, and it supersedes it, and you look at that. And that's also important to look at too on the lower grade cutoff wheels and grinding flap discs. Like they will probably have a lower rating in RPM, so you can't bring them up as higher in order to get a better finish as you're grinding.
Yeah.
And there's also minimum. You want to have at least a decent speed. And that's what we talk about the amperage. As long as you have a consistent amperage of a certain amount of RPMs, and it will vary depending on what you're doing. And there's no real minimum, but I just want to make sure you got a good speed.
And that's primarily because of the resin.
Yep.
Like the resin's only supposed to heat up to a certain area for it to work optimally.
Well, the resin's going to hold it together.
Okay.
And yeah, that is part of it. But if you're wanting to get a truer cut, like I'll give you an idea. The ceramic sharpens itself over time.
Oh, okay.
So it resharpens itself. So in order to get the life of ceramic, and it needs to be at a certain RPM in order for the resin to kick in, and also for it to basically resharpen itself. So if you don't get that consistent, if it starts bogging down and it doesn't have that particular RPMs for a consistent time, it doesn't resharpen it. And so you lose the benefits of ceramic.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense on the ceramics. Is the same thing for aluminum oxide, or is that mainly just for ceramics?
Mainly for ceramics.
Yeah.
Aluminum oxides, they're kind of all inclusives and that stuff. But you still want to have a decent RPM on them so that you don't bog down.
Gotcha. Well, cool. Well, another thing that I liked about Walters, they have a lot of options for twist on
Yes.
consumables, twist on flappers, twist on cutoffs. Not cutoffs. They don't have twist on cutoffs, I don't think.
No. There's different ones. I mean, there's recess. So I think there was some recess cutoffs in there. And so there's some different ones that you can do on that. Plus your standard, just regular cutoff.
Yeah.
Which you can grind with, by the way. Just it's a pain.
Yeah.
It's light grind.
Takes a lot longer.
You do some light grinding with some aluminum oxide stuff like that. It's just it's not as fun. So
Yeah.
A flapper wheel makes it so much easier.
Yeah. Well, cool. So we have for this month's giveaway for the month of February, we put together a sweet little package, I think, that has some lights in it from Coast.
Yeah.
We have some T-Rex grip tape, and we have some tapes in there from Sure Tape, and we have some consumables from Walter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we got some different lights in there. We got from Coast. We've got the all in road hazard light with a magnet on it, and so it's got really good lumens on the outside of it. But it's also got some different kind of warning lights, flashlight parts on the outside of it. You have the option of buying and upgrading into a rechargeable battery, but it comes with batteries itself. So it's really cool with a magnet, heavy duty magnet on the back end.
Yep, and it's 800 lumens on the flashlight part, 510 on the side area lighting, And it comes with 4 AA's lifetime warranty. The nice thing that that kind of caught my eye about this, obviously the magnet on the back, so you can put it on the side of your Jeep when you broke down the side of the highway. And but it's also good in stormproof, crush-proof, and drop-proof.
Yes.
So it'll be able to really take some abuse, which is really nice for the off-roaders out there.
Yep. It was designed specifically for that hazard situation where you're running into, like, this is emergency light. But it's also good. It's a good daily use light too. So, you can use it normally, but it's a good one to keep in the room.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm excited about.
This one's pretty interesting. This is the Coast VizSafe.
Yes.
Do you want to explain these?
So safety glasses, which I know not everyone's a fan of safety glasses oftentimes, but these are cool ones because they have lights in them. So if you're doing your grinding or whatever, you don't want to wear a face shield, which I still recommend a face shield or a weld shield. But if you're just mechanicking and you don't have hands to put a light, you're able to see underneath what you're working on.
Yep. And you don't need to wear a headlamp either. It's all built right into the safety glasses, which is pretty freaking cool. And I like about these is that it has interchangeable clear or yellow lenses.
Yes.
If you want, which is nice. And they're USB-C rechargeable.
Yes.
Again. So, yeah. So those are really cool. We got those in there. We have a pen light and a headlamp that are both pretty rugged. I want to say they were both IP rated here. Grab. So we got the pen light, dual power IP54 rated. It's got 2 modes for different focal lengths on it and USB-C rechargeable. And then there's the headlamp, 1000 lumen headlamp, USB-C rechargeable as well. And then we've got the T-Rex tread tape, extreme tread tape, which is very extreme.
Yes.
I still have dents and holes in my hand.
I think I'm okay.
I think they got away, surprisingly. And then the Sure tape, we have some electrical tape there.
Yes.
Is that actually electrical insulated?
Let's look at it. Let's see. I actually didn't look at. I just threw it in there
because that's always been like one of my gripes with electrical tapes is that it's labeled as electrical tape, but not all electrical tape is electrically insulated. No more than 600 volts. So EV57 is what it is, and it's rated for 600 volt application. So plenty on for electrical and automotive electrical stuff.
So there you go. So you got your insulation to that degree.
There you go. Sweet. There's that. And then we also have some T-Rex super glue tape. Talk about this.
So super glue tape. So since it's kind of our fabricating and lighting show here today, super glue obviously is important, especially if you're trying to, if like Tyler and you run into a tree every time you go there and you may need to glue on your light in the back,
my tail light,
your tail light. That tape might actually work pretty good in mounting. So it's a little bit heavier duty than the mounting tape. It's kind of more of a permanent fixture. So it's a 2-sided glue tape there that allows you to glue things together. So if your bumper comes off, feel free to put that if you don't want to have any screws or any of that. So it's perfect to keep in the bag just in case you run into something out on the trail that you got to glue.
Yep. So double-sided tape is essentially what double-sided, really strong
glue tape,
a high adhesive tacky tape. So
cool.
This stuff should be pretty cool for varying degrees of stuff. And then we have our fabrication consumables. I'm still impressed with these cutoffs.
Yeah. They're awesome.
Five cutoff wheels.
And so these are the Walter zip cuts.
Yes.
They're aluminum oxide ones, not the ceramic ones.
Yes.
So we have those. They're for 4.5-inch grinders, rated up to 13,300 RPMs.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Which is, I think, exceeds a lot of 4.5-inch grinders out there on the market. And then we have some flappers from Walter. And they're the Enduro Flex. And these are really actually pretty impressive just by the structure of them.
Yes.
Because they're spin-ons onto your grinder, but it's not a resin really that holds all the flappers together.
There is some in there, but you look at the body of the spin-on.
Yeah.
Is it's heavy duty comparatively to what we looked at in the other one.
Yep. So this thing, I don't think this is ever going to come apart if you're using it on a 4.5 inch grinder for anything.
No.
They're really impressive here. So we got 3 of those, and then we have 2 grinder discs that are from Walter, and they're called the Excavator XX.
Yes. So
are these the ceramic ones in?
No, those aren't ceramic ones.
Gotcha.
Those are, however, those are just your grinding discs that are nice and easy grinding discs. But yeah, so those are the high end premium ones though. So yeah, ceramic you're going to use with cutoff wheels, grinding your XX. Nice.
Well, cool, man. So, what's our retail value of this whole giveaway for February? I know we were looking that up earlier.
We sort of stopped.
Did we get sidetracked?
We got sidetracked a little bit, but we were over $150 before we got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So based on the lights, each light that you're getting is going to retail anywhere from $30 to $60. And so we've got 1, 2, 3 lights in there.
4
lights, excuse me. So you're averaging at $45. And then the whole case of those cutoff wheels is $60. So basically you're getting about $60 in cutoff wheels and grinding discs. And then on the tape there, you're looking at 34.
Sweet. Yeah. So we're looking at $250,
$250-ish,
$250 for the giveaway for February here. Yeah. So awesome. That's huge. And it's some really cool stuff. And it's a really nice selection, a wide selection of some of the fun things that you're doing now.
Yeah.
So
fabrication day. So, as you guys look to grind, and you guys will look at the title. I purposely made them make a title.
Yeah, we let Corey choose the title of this episode, and I don't know if I'm regretting it yet. I think it's fun though.
Yeah,
I mean, so if you were hoping this was about the app Grinder, I'm sorry, you're mistaken.
Yeah, sorry.
We have one listener that's mad at you, Brian.
That's funny. So cool, man. We're gonna get you back on the episode or back on the show here for some future topics like battery technology and power tools. I think we're definitely having you back on to talk about tool month as we get down into, what is it, July? We typically do that? June?
Yes,
June. So tool month this year is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Yes.
We're going to have, I think, a lot more updates for people as we come into the future here of, where people can find all this stuff. Cause it really is a lot of different things that you do. I know that I've reached out to you personally. I'm like, hey, are you doing anything with this lately? And you're like, yeah, here's these options. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't expecting you to say yes. And you're all, yeah, no problem. So I think there's a lot of different stuff out there. If people want to get a hold of you to pick your brain about any of the things that we've talked about today, or figure out what other fun things you're going to be doing, how would people do that now?
The best way is still Instagram. So okay. I changed. It's no longer GW. It's now CK _ Corey.
Okay.
So we haven't switched to the Lawless one yet, but yeah. So you can find me on Instagram there.
So CK _ Corey.
Yep.
What's the CK for?
Don't worry about it.
Awesome.
It's for Grinder only.
It's just a Grinder name. So awesome. If people want to call in, you guys can do that. 916-345-4744 with any questions, and we'll forward those voicemails over to Corey. And, if you guys also want to write us emails, we can also forward those over to Corey and get some answers for you on any questions on fabrication items from Walter, tapes, flex. God, what all the things did we go over? Coast, T-Rex. There's a lot of different stuff going on. Skill. So if you guys have any questions, send those on over, and we'll work on getting them answered for you. So
yeah, absolutely. And we are going to try to work on getting some special deals for the podcast. And eventually, once we can get those things finalized, we're going to add them onto the website so that you guys can get a direct to consumer action, which is something we were lacking with Corey's previous employer.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're still working on, to some extent, ways to get that better for listeners. Yeah.
Yeah. Make it a lot easier for you guys to find the stuff you're looking to get, that you get to hear about here on the podcast and learn about. So yeah, that will be, I think, another big, nice thing coming down the line here. So, cool. Any other things to tease about today before we sign off here, Corey?
I'm getting a Tundra.
Ooh. All right. When do you take order? When do you take possession of it?
Hopefully by next week.
Cool. So bringing it by the recording studio.
Yes, I was hoping to do it. I was hoping to do it already, but
you've already ordered it.
yeah, it's already it's in the we are looking to take possession of it here by next week. So it's hoping to bring it.
Okay, what'd you order? What trim model? Interior package?
We are doing the Platinum Advanced.
The Platinum Advanced. Okay, so not the TRD or
no TRD. Looking at the new Tundra model, the TRD, I would be waiting for next year to get it.
Okay,
and you look at the overall upgrades for the TRD, you can get that in the Platinum.
Not an e-locker though.
Well, they have a locker in it. I think
it's a limited slip though, isn't it?
Yeah,
in that
I
one,
think so.
and A-track.
I'll look at it. I'm not sure if it's the A-track, but I looked at it. The differences, though, and we'll look at it offline. But the differences, I still got all the ride height differences, the adjustable systems that come in the TRD Pro. The main difference is the TRD Pro is also I couldn't get the hybrid version either.
Oh, you couldn't get the hybrid drivetrain?
No,
that's a bummer.
No, and the looking at it, the only miles per gallon difference is like a half a mile per gallon.
Yeah.
And the however I do lose on the power torque side.
Right.
Well, the rated miles per gallon or the actual miles per gallon, because that hybrid drivetrain that Toyota is doing now with the twin turbo and the P2 hybrid setup, it is not getting anywhere close to the miles per gallon that they're rating them for.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So with the specialized air intake cooling that they're doing on that, essentially the iForce, so still an iForce engine. It's just not the hybrid battery. Doesn't have as much battery power as this.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we'll get to play around with it. We'll do some ride height adjustments. It does come with some slip diff dock lockers, but it's off-roading.
Yeah.
At least limited four-wheel drive.
Yeah. Nice.
I see a Tundra episode in our future.
We may have a Tundra versus Sequoia to talk about in the future here. Yeah. So, that's all we got for now, I guess, for this episode. I guess without further ado, Jimmy, do you have any final words for everybody?
I just want to know if you got in trouble because Wheeling Wine and Whiskey never paid their bill.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yes.
They're going to feel terrible now. Corey, any final words for everybody?
Keep grinding.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
Bring it on, Corey.
All right. My dog accidentally swallowed a whole bag of Scrabble tiles.
A whole bag, not a half bag?
No, whole bag. We just got him to the vet to get him checked out. No word yet.
I've heard that one. Yeah, that one's good.
Sweet.
Do you want an extra one?
Yeah, let's do another one.
Why aren't koalas bears?
I don't know. Why?
Because they don't meet the qualifications.
Oh.
I see that's much more up Tyler's alley.
Yeah.
He doesn't play Word with Friends.
He does not play that.
The Scrabble game?
Yeah.
I used to. I don't play anymore though.